Ready? Okay.
Welcome, everybody. We are so glad that you're here with us today. This is Elevate Your Inner Peace, where we have open, grounded conversations about energy, emotions, intuition, and navigating life during times of change. We have Jamie Beasley, psychic, intuitive, and a medium, Jeanette Johnson, astrologer, Lynn Cebulski, tarot and oracle readings, and myself, Lynette Ferguson, quantum energy practitioner. And we are here to help you understand what is going on with energies, whether it's this week or this month or this year, and then talk about how those things relate to, like, Jamie and I both are healers. Jamie brings in intuitive messages, and Jeanette throws in her astrology, and together we've got a big pot of everything that's happening and all from all the angles. So yeah, so welcome. And so I'm gonna hand it over to Lynn, and she's gonna be doing our tarot reading to start us off. You wanna
Hey,
dive into
everybody.
it, Lynn?
Sure thing. Um, I will say that one thing I've noticed in my tarot readings over the past, I'm going to say 2-ish weeks, um, is a shift in the paths generally between healers and people who are not working in energy and healing work. I feel like up until this point, um, both of those groups have kind of had very similar issues, just maybe in different forms. And from my own perspective, I was always able to look at the healers around me and see what they were going through, and then be able to anticipate the types of issues that would show up in my clients. It was always a very similar thing. And what I've seen in the past couple weeks is that those of us who are working in healing and light working and divination and those types of modalities, it's been a heavy lift. We've all been tired. We've all been drinking the coffee. We've all been like pushing ourselves, but we have all been pushing ourselves and saying, "Hey, it's my time to be doing this thing." We've been supporting each other. We've been getting in touch with each other. There has been a real push, a real activation. Like, if you think that kind of stuff sounds cuckoo, like, no, there's a real activation that is happening. And then on the client side, for people who are not going through that heavy activation, they are starting to shift to some more deep-seated issues that really do need the healing. And so, the healers are showing up. We're saying, hey, we're ready, and the healing work is here, and we're ready to dive in. And so the year of the fire horse, I feel like we're all diving right into that. The first card that I'm pulling that actually does apply to both groups pretty evenly. I'm pulling let's see if we get it in front of the camera. I guess I have to hold it in front of my face. It's the reversed Hierophant. Um, this card talks about things like religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, personal beliefs, psychological beliefs, your the cultures that you grow up in, the structures of your life, um, consciously or unconsciously, we construct a world for ourselves. And as we move into this new phase, this age of Aquarius, this age of the collective, we're going to be asked to reevaluate what are our basic beliefs. And a lot of people are going to be shifting their belief systems, realizing, hey, I don't have to stick with the one thing that I was born with, the two or three things that I'm familiar with. I can explore, and exploration doesn't mean commitment. Exploration just means I would like to have more knowledge. I would like to have more perspective. I would like to be more open-minded and make sure that the experience that I'm having is the fullest experience that I can have. And so, for healers, that means taking on some new modalities, extending the work that you do, not just sitting on your laurels and say, well, I've been doing this for so many years, I'm as good as I need to be, but really taking the deep dive. And For clients, it means that we will be seeing clients who we really have not seen before, who are completely new to this type of work and these types of modalities. And so it's going to require a little more patience on our part to explain and to answer some basic questions. And especially now we're going to have these questions about, well, not only what is this about, but you practitioner, what do you believe? And then us sitting back and saying, what do I actually believe? Do I believe anything at all? But these conversations around beliefs are going to be a big feature. I am also pulling the Empress card. This is really just a self-care card. We know that 2026 is going to be kind of a loaded year, and it's still the beginning of the year. There's a lot that we're going to be doing. It makes sense right now to set in stone these self-care routines. Um, I know at the moment Venus is in Pisces, and I feel like that's a great time to like really think about what makes me feel good. Is it a trip to the spa? Is it a nap? Is it a book? Is it a walk in nature? But make these things a habit because we're going to need to go back to them and we're going to need to model the behavior for other people who haven't adopted those behaviors. So if you're like putting off going for the walk, go for the walk with somebody and drag them along and help your neighbors or your friends or your partners also be on the right path and be their best selves. We are pulling a reversed Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is a message about money, and this particular card is saying if you have not yet heard a message about money, and for some people that's a new job, money coming in, money they're going to be owed, am I going to get this windfall? If you have not gotten that message, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Hold on. Um, my personal feelings are that as we get towards the end of April and we have that shift in Taurus, Taurus has to do with a lot of material things. I think people who are waiting for these money messages and haven't gotten them yet, I think really by the end of April, beginning of May, they should start to see a shift there. And finally, we are pulling the Justice card. This card is represented by Libra, and I think this actually refers back to something that Jamie was saying earlier that I'm sure she's going to discuss, and that was the issue of partnership and how we're moving into a period where people are looking at their partnerships, and if they don't work anymore, saying, hey, I need to be out, you need to be out, we need to be on our respective paths. And the Justice card is representing this by saying, okay, if you're going to split, make sure things are fair, make sure things are even. Um, you know, the Justice card is the justice system. It's courts, it's court dates, it's legal battles, it's contracts that you sign, it's all of that stuff. And so whether it's a romantic partnership or a business partnership, anything that people are dividing comes with that work. And that is my tarot reading for the day. I'm going to add in a crystal pick, and you can't really see them. I wore my amethyst earrings today. Now that we are entering Pisces season, I feel like amethyst is just the quintessential stone for this season. Um, I am pretty sure that if you don't own a piece of amethyst, you're not allowed to listen to this podcast. You need to like turn it off. Um, but when we think of amethyst, we think of things like sobriety, and that type of clarity is important as we're moving into this phase of doing the new things, letting go of the old and embracing the new. And also, that's our crown chakra. I mean, that's where we get that big boost, and that's why it's such a popular stone among healers and light workers. And so, amethyst is one of those stones that tends to stay with people a really long time. You can lose all sorts of different stones, but the amethyst kind of tends to stick around for a really long time, and it holds a lot of personal energy. And so the message with the amethyst stone is don't throw out your past self, integrate it into who you are now. And whether you are in a healing profession or doing something else, all of your experiences are important. They need to be in your energy field because that's what attracts the people and circumstances that are meant to be in your life. And there you go. That is my contribution for this evening.
Very cool. Well, thank you. And I have a gigantic dream amethyst. It's like it's like this big. It's huge. Yeah, I was at a crystal store. Uh, was I with you, Jamie? I think I was when I bought that amethyst. Was I with you? I don't remember, but it was I bought it in Wimberley, Texas, and I
Oh,
walked.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I picked up this amethyst and I was like, yeah, I think this is going home with me.
Yeah.
It was so it was very instantaneous, like, yep, this is going home with me. Sometimes those crystals, man, you just know that like the minute you see them or pick them up. And then at that on that same trip, there was a Mongolian quartz that I picked up. Same thing, right? I was like, yeah, this one too. So so yes, I love my amethyst. And I feel like our
Buy
background,
their books.
I think our background resembles amethyst. It's got that, the shades of purple, so it's very reminiscent of amethyst. All right, so who wants to go next?
I
Jeanette, do
could
you want
throw
to?
in some astrology to back up what Lynn was saying.
Yeah.
Um, so we have an Aquarius eclipse. Aquarius is a cold detachment. It's a new moon. We're letting things go. Dead weight is not an option anymore. We've got Saturn in Aries. So Saturn is time. For people who don't know too much about Aries, it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's a fire sign. So there's this sense of I can't waste my time anymore. So with the breakups and the relationships and the jobs that we're leaving and moving on to new things, it's not a tragedy. It's just as like an okay, this has ran its course. Now we can let it go. Kind of like an old friend that you just outgrew. There's nothing wrong with either one of you. It's just all right, you're going this way and I'm going this way. I mean, that's just kind of what we're all going through right now. We got a Mercury retrograde coming up towards the end of the month. So the way you're going to be getting the messages is kind of vague. You're going to have to kind of pay attention to how the universe speaks to you, but it'll be clear what path you're supposed to take. If you're gonna make a major decision to do a breakup or end a job, you'll be sure about it. There won't be any room for clinging on. If it was Scorpio energy, that holds on for dear life. Aquarius is the strongest sign in the zodiac. Aquarius, cold detachment with love always wins. So it's also we have Pluto in Aquarius. So Pluto is power. Pluto is a generational thing. Pluto could take over 14 years to be in a sign. And this is the first eclipse since Pluto is at a new degree. So Pluto is speaking to us during this eclipse. What makes you powerful? Where do you hold your power? How do you harness your power? Are you powerful when you're alone, or are you powerful in a relationship, or does it hold you back? This doesn't mean everyone's going to break up. It just means that there's going to be an awareness with this eclipse of what isn't working out. And we're going to be okay with that. It's not going to be I mean, sometimes it's hard, but I feel like the next door that's going to open is going to be a little bit obvious. The new moon, I mean, the full moon eclipse, on the 3rd of March, we'll be able to see more clearly. So right now it's the new moon, it's an eclipse. We're letting things go. We realize we don't have a lot of time left on this planet and we got to do what we came to do. And by the full moon eclipse, we'll be able to see that path a little bit more clearly. And there won't be this anxiety of what do I do without them or how do I do it on my own. With Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries, we're going to want to do it on our own. We're going to want that independence because, you're born alone, you die alone. At some point, you got to do it on your own and you can't have a crutch. So that's kind of what this energy is about. And if you have a partnership that, you two work together, that's great too. But you may be becoming more individuals while being together. I feel there's going to be a lot of that. And then we're entering Pisces season, so this is the last day of Aquarius season. So we're going to get a little bit softer. We're going to feel it's not as cold emotionally. We're going to be able to just relax and release. Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. After Pisces is Aries, so winter will go away. Doesn't seem like it in New York, but it's gonna happen. And the season of spring is when we really start a new beginnings, but we have to go through the winter first. So with this Aquarius eclipse, we're gonna see what needs to go, and during Pisces season, that's the ending. Because sometimes you break up with someone, you got to get a new apartment, and then all this stuff has to happen. So it's sometimes you see that it needs to end, but it's not always as instantaneous. But it shouldn't be a bad transition. There's not a theory of tragedy. I mean, a theme of tragedy during this season. It's a theme of, okay, what's my next chapter? Because I'm actually looking forward to it. That's kind of the vibe. Jamie, any thoughts?
Yeah. So, tying into what both of you were saying is, and especially the last thing that you were just talking about, that what I have been seeing intuitively is that this is a year of self-discovery. And so it's very much meant for us to go within, and I know I repeat this a lot, but we are supposed to be in this year is, and it's going to happen fast, right? So it feels like the energy from last year was kind of slowly trying to push out what no longer serves us. Now that's speeding up because it's kind of feeling like, okay, when when you're in a situation that no longer serves you, it becomes uncomfortable. And last year was a lot of people were getting uncomfortable with their relationships, with their jobs, um, and not just like romantic relationships, friendships too, right? So any kind of relationship. And it was like slowly happening where the universe was like, okay, we're gonna let you, kind of figure this out on your own. And then starting around December, I really felt like the energy was starting to like the universe was pushing a little harder and saying, okay, we're like starting to run out of time, because it was really about trying to get this stuff released or to let go of before all of the astrological and the Chinese New Year and like everything that's happening right now. We were being pushed to let go of that, because it's like heavy weight. And because we need to have a fast momentum, and because this year is about what is for our highest good, we needed to kind of let go of anything that was weighing us down. So this year, what I'm seeing is we're supposed to figure out, and I got this actually very, very clear today. This made the most sense when I was doing a reading for somebody, to stop and to step back and to reassess everything in your life. And that is what the things that I'm going after, the things that I'm trying to achieve, is that still something that I want? We get so in this what's the word I'm trying to think of? We get in a pattern, and all we see is this, the forward momentum, right? This is what we're going towards. We're trying to achieve this, we're trying to do this, we're trying to reach this goal. But what we're being asked this year is that still your goal? Do you still want that? And do you want that because you want it, or do you want it because people around you are making you feel like you want that, or you've been taught that that's what you're supposed to want. And I think, Jeanette, you mentioned something about individual, right? Like things as an individual. This year, that's what I'm getting so strongly is we are supposed to reassess our lives this year. And the things that we think that we want, do we really want those? Do we really need those? Everything is going to change. The more that you go within, and this is, as I've been doing energy work, a lot of people, their crown chakras are very, very blocked, very blocked. And when they're blocked like that, you're not, you're really connecting too much to everything external outside of you. And that's when you really need to be going within. And if you could, and I've said this before, if you could tune out all of the noise around you and all you heard was your own voice, and there's no criticism, there's no expectation, there's no anything from anybody else. If you could just go within and only listen to your own voice, then what do you want? What do you need? What is your passion? What is your purpose? What would make you happy? And it feels like this year is going to be a year of relationships ending, jobs changing, because the more that we do this self-care and we are more introspective and trying to figure out what do we really want, then we're going to start to realize that there's things in our life that are no longer serving us. There's relationships that have become very, very uncomfortable because you're not an energetic match, because you're not vibrating the same, because you're not on that same path anymore. And the one thing that, and I apologize if I repeat myself sometimes, but it's because it consistently keeps coming through. It is not a bad thing when a job ends, when a relationship ends. This is not a sign of failure. This is not that you didn't make it work, you didn't work hard enough. It just means that you guys are not vibrating the same anymore. That your path is not, this is not part, this is no longer part of your path. And sometimes when it's relationships, they can end for multiple reasons. Your soul contract might be done. And it's this is what you two agreed to, and nothing beyond that. Or it's that you are on a path of self-discovery and healing and your partner is not, and we have free will, so we we may come down here with the best intentions on this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to heal and experience, and then we get here and life can be hard, and sometimes some of us choose not to go on a healing path, not to acknowledge, like, I've got some wounds, I've got some things that need to get healed, I've got some things that I need to change. And so we can't walk anybody's path for them, just the same as they can't walk our path for us. But on a soul level, we want each other to stay on our paths, right? That's we, on a soul level, we love each other so much and we want whatever's for each other's highest good. And we would never, ever, ever on a soul level want to hold another soul back from being on their path and doing what they came here to do. So there's going to be a lot of endings this year. There's going to be a lot of people changing, like suddenly not wanting to dress the same because their style of clothing has changed because their energy is shifting, or wanting to do maybe something completely different, like completely opposite as far as work, where they're trying to gravitate towards something more meaningful. um, this year is really about getting in touch with, why are we here? What did we come here to accomplish? What is our soul's purpose? And aligning with our passion and um, accomplishing the things that we came here to do. Um, so it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to continue to be uncomfortable for people that are still trying to hold on and trying to make it work. It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and it's never ever gonna work, right? But it doesn't mean that somebody's not going to keep trying. And um, we just need to focus our energy on what we need and what aligns with us. And the one thing that I keep telling all of my clients, because it's come through from my guides, is let go. Just let go. Just say, I release everything that no longer serves me. And that is you saying, no matter what it is, I'm allowing it to be set free, right? Whether it's possessions or people or jobs, anything. We have to be willing to let go of what no longer serves us so that we can welcome in everything that's for our highest good. Because when we release what doesn't serve us any longer, and we are making room now for what does. And when you are in a situation that you need to move through and you need to move out of, not only is it uncomfortable, the energy is really heavy. It's really heavy. And when your energy is heavy, you feel like the lower vibration emotions of like depression and anxiety and worry and fear and frustration. And you're sitting in all of those energies, and sometimes you think it's because your partner is making you feel that way, and it's not. It's because you're energetically not matched anymore. And the mismatch of the energy. So, yeah, your partner can do some things that irritate you, but what is really happening under the surface is you're not energetically on the same path anymore. And that becomes very uncomfortable. Um, and you, Jeanette, you said something about being an Aries and can't waste any more time. And I was saying this back in December that January we're going to hit the ground running, and we still were having that little bit of time where I feel like the universe was still giving us a little bit of time to really let go and to get ready. But now, like starting today, like this, it's happening fast. It's happening fast. Manifesting is happening fast. Whatever it is that you're focusing your energy on is going to come quickly. Um, and you also talked about Pluto, and that's, you said, is where your power, and that's one of the things that we're supposed to be doing this year is taking back our power, walking in our power, making choices that align with us. And the choices, so it's making choices that have nothing to do with any of the noise that is going on around you. So it's not about what your friends or your family are saying that you should be doing or that you should want or you should be moving towards or whatever goals. This is about us. It's about us owning our power, walking in our power, and actually acknowledging that it's okay for us to take care of ourselves. It is not selfish. It's not selfish. It's self-love. And we're taught that from when we're young, especially as women, to take care of everybody else, to put everybody else before ourselves. And this is a year where it may come across to people as selfish, but it's very about self-serving in the sense of self-love. So this is a year of self-love and self-reflection, taking care of ourselves and finding out what we truly want and what we truly need. Um, and what else? Um, okay. So I think that was pretty much all of it, is that it's going to go fast. It's going to be uncomfortable for some people, but The sooner that you let go and just let the energy flow however it's going to go. So this year is like water in a river, right? You can't control its flow, but it's going to find its natural course, and it's going to find the easiest course to go, right? It's not going to, the river is not going to go some challenging way, right? If you just leave it alone, it's going to find the path of least resistance. And that's what we need to do with the energy and with our energy and what's flowing in and out of our lives. Stop trying to hold on to it. Stop trying to strangle it. Let it go. Let it go if it's not serving you anymore. And sometimes it's not even a matter of having to actually do something to let it go. Sometimes it's just saying, it's just putting that energy out to the universe of like saying, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. However it flows out of my life, I'm not trying to control it anymore. And then just welcoming in, making room for what does serve us, so that this is going to be a year where we're going to become stronger. We're going to be stronger. We're going to become more confident, and we're going to be on more solid footing with knowing what we want, that has nothing to do with what other people want for us or what other people think we should want. This is the year of like this very personal journey this year.
I just
So
wanted to
curious.
add, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Lynette.
No, go ahead.
No, with all the Aries planets that it's gonna feel selfish, you're gonna learn who's really selfish by them telling you that you're selfish because they might have benefited from your overgiven. This is not a year where you're gonna be able to overgive. This is really gonna be a year where it's me first. Like even if you're married, like, listen, I need 20 minutes to myself to meditate or whatever your thing is. This whole theme of putting yourself first that she mentioned, that's a big, big, big deal. Another thing I forgot to mention, the Saturn Neptune conjunction on the 20th, which is in like 3 days. Um, any illusion we had of, okay, I could deal with this, maybe this is working out, but deep down you had a little bit of doubt, and in the back of your mind something's wrong. The goggles are going to come off. It's going to be very visible, where you're overgiven, where you're overextending yourself, and where you need to be putting yourself first. Anyway, Lynette, as you were
I was
saying,
just gonna ask, it's really interesting that we just came out of the year of the snake, right?
yeah,
And that was supposed to be releasing and ending and shedding and like all that stuff. But what I'm hearing is that it's almost like that's still continuing in this year, even though we're in a 1 year, which is new beginnings. We're still in that um shedding what's no longer serving us, um so that we can actually be free, like the horse, right, to really move forward into what we're here to do. Is that's kind of like what I'm hearing,
wait
right?
for the
Is that
planets to get out of Pisces, because Pisces, like I said, is the end-ins. Like I think March 21st or whatever, spring starts. The sun is in Aries, and the sun is your identity, and Aries is the self. So once we move past these Pisces planets, and like I said, Mercury's going to go retrograde, and he's going to go direct. So we'll have to deal with him for a little bit. But like the Venus and Pisces can sometimes overgive. Um, Mars is going to go into Pisces after Aquarius. So I want to see the sun get out of Pisces before we really start to individuate.
mm. So you think that the shedding will continue
I feel it's gonna be a little bit of
for a
both.
little
I
bit?
mean, with the retrograde, it's like we're gonna go back a little bit and be like, all right, how could I have done this better? How do I need to have this do this differently? Because clearly I was overextended myself, and that Saturn was in Pisces, so we were all self-sacrificing, and now it's like, wait a second, I really got to put myself first. And the Mercury retrograde, I think it starts on the 26th. We're gonna realize where we, I don't want to say went wrong, but where we could have done this a little differently, where we would have benefited a little bit more. Then Mercury goes direct, and it's like, okay, because we're still gonna have relationships. Just because it's me first doesn't mean you're not gonna have friends. It's just you're gonna have, it's like time management. It's all about time management and taking out time for yourself. Like, listen, it's 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I'm taking a bath. I'm unplugging my phone. Stuff like that.
I think that
It's
Mercury
interesting. Oh, go ahead, Lynn.
I think that Mercury retrograde is also going to be a good time. We're talking about people who are kind of, splitting relationships and partnerships and so forth. When you decide you're going to split something, you need to make a plan for yourself. I mean, like, I'm divorced. When that happened, there was some couch surfing involved. There was some, hey, can I stay with you? Do you have a side gig I can do while I'm moving, while I'm changing jobs, while I'm whatever? And so there's kind of like this liminal space from the time we finish like processing the feelings to the time where things happen, and it's that in between phase where we're like, okay, now that I know what I'm trying to extract myself from, what can I use to help myself move forward? Who do I need to talk to? What are the resources? What are the money situation? And it's really interesting how this conversation is happening. And Jamie, you were saying that, especially women were taught to put everyone, first and then ourselves. And the thought that popped into my mind is, yes, and that's how we're taught to deal with money also, right? Like spend and give and give. We're not taught, hey, you get paid or you get money, put some aside on savings first, and no matter what happens, borrow money if you have to, but hold on to your savings. That sounds crazy to people. They think like, if I have any money saved, I should never borrow, I should never take out a loan, I should never do this thing. But as we go through life, we find out that it's not necessarily always a good idea to drain our savings to nothing. That's the equivalent of like draining our energy to nothing. It leaves us in a more vulnerable place. And so I'm glad to see this year that we're going to stop doing that.
I had a relationship end last year. It was just a natural end. It wasn't like a breakup, right? It was just more like, okay, like I got stuff I gotta do, right? Like I'm like I gotta go. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm like the horsey's got to go, and so the horsey went, and but we're still friends. So, anyways, but it was very clear that I was not meant to be in another relationship, right? I like just this feeling of like, no, nope, I do like no, I need to be by myself, and that is still holding true, right? I'm still feeling like, nope, nope, no, I need to be by myself. So there's definitely that sense of like I need to be in my own energy, and I need to be going within, and I need to be having that time to be by myself. And so, and also, like what is Lynette meant to be doing at this time? And so it's coming clear, now that the energy is kind of moving again of like what I'm meant to be doing this year. And it's a lot of it is around building community. And so that's what I'm doing here in San Antonio is building community. And it's it seems to be, I don't know, catching fire, if you will. Like I feel like it's definitely gaining momentum for sure. So yeah.
There's definitely a power in being single because you don't have the opportunity to escape freedom. It's not like, well, what are you doing today? Oh, I'll watch that movie with you. There's so much time of, all right, what do I have to be doing? And then it kind of forces you to do it. And it's good not to lie about yourself like that. Like when you know, like, okay, this is where I need to stand in life and embrace it. I think that's very powerful as opposed to like maybe avoiding your intuition about where you're supposed to be in life.
Yep.
Do we have any other thoughts? I think we have eclipsed.
Oh, one other thing that I just was looking back that you said something about um one of the cards talked about religious and spiritual, like all beliefs.
Yep.
And um I really feel like there's 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 gonna be, and maybe Lynn, maybe you mentioned this, but people that are going to be going to healers that maybe hadn't before. And it's all because they're on this path of self-discovery. And so they're opening their minds up. And I had seen this last year too, where people were really going to be seeking alternative medicine, alternative healing, really alternative healing. Um, and I think that there's a lot of shifting of beliefs that's going to be happening, and this is where as healers and as folks that are like tapped into this, they're going to be looking, there's going to be people I don't like that maybe don't understand all of this, that are going to start to have like a lot of questions, you know. And I know that Linda and I have talked about this, and this is one of the reasons kind of like we wanted to really put ourselves out here like this, is because we don't want people to be afraid to ask those questions. And we welcome. I love having conversations with people to answer these questions and to help them understand how this works, and what energy healing is, and what's happening right now to it's like there's a whole nother world that if you're not aware of it, it makes it can be hard and confusing of what's going on. But once you understand like the astrology of it, and the energy of everything that's happening, I feel like it kind of makes you feel less like you're crazy, and like things make more sense. Um and So I guess I just want to put it out there that we we as a group, right, that we welcome to have any conversations for any questions. We love those questions, and we love helping people to understand what's going on. And so I hope that people do reach out to us, um, to help move through this year, because I just feel like it's going to be a lot. It's there's this is not this is not a year for rest. This is not a year. This is like a year of action, right? Like as healers, we're being called into action. As individuals, we're being called to do this self-reflection, and to say, hey, what do I need? And by the way, what do I need to heal, and what direction do I even need to go in to heal, right? It's this year's a lot about us becoming the best version of ourselves. So I feel like this is going to be I feel like this could be a challenging year. I feel like this could be a hardworking, moving quickly year. But it's also going to be, if we allow it, it's going to be such a year of self-reflection, self-fulfillment, self-love, self-discovery. Like I don't know energetically if we've had a year like this, at least not that I'm aware of. And so it's it's exciting. It's very exciting, but can be a little scary too. And so I guess I'm just like putting it out there, like we are going through it ourselves. The four of us are also going through this. We're going through all of this stuff right beside everybody else, and we are all here to kind of help on that journey, make it a little bit easier, make it a little bit easier to understand, hopefully help make things make sense.
Yep, most definitely. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, and anyone else who joined us for today and is watching this on the replay. We welcome any questions and any feedback and so on and so forth. So yeah, comment on our video, and if you have any questions that you'd like us to address in a future podcast, let us know. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.